Gracias por tu apoyo a Somos Malosos. Suscríbete a nuestro canal, dale like a este video y deja tu comentario. Somos Malosos, el único canal en español de YouTube basado en Las Vegas donde hablamos sobre los Raiders. Disfruta de este clip.
What have you learned about
What's your program?
What have you learned about your team over this last couple of months?
Oh, we learned a lot. It's been the whole purpose here is to figure them out, figure the guys out, and it's a relationship that we're building on that we need to know who we're teaching and how they operate and how they function and all that. So the whole time has been about information gathering, and you would think like it's all on the football field, but it's way more than that. And we've gone to great depths to try to get to understand our guys, what's important to them, what are their goals and their principles and how they approach stuff, and so that we can better teach them and reach them, So I wouldn't even know where to start. There's a million things that we've learned. Sorry.
You noticed a lot today. You seem to mix things up, a lot of first team versus second team and vice versa. What was the method behind doing that?
Today we really played game-like. We started, it was 10 minutes left in the third quarter. And so we played all the way through to the end of the game, and somehow the commissioner got it to come down to a tie, which was great. And then because we wanted to go into OT, and we went into OT and had a couple exchanges in overtime as well. So we just tried to log as many situations as we could throughout all of our time together. The last time we tried to go OT, we had a lightning thing that we had to get off the field on. So I kind of overdid it. We had like almost, everybody got a couple shots in OT legitimately as the clock worked, and so worked out great.
Pete, energy has been something that's been associated with this team for the last few weeks. I wonder, have you been getting that energy out of this group of players that you hope for? And also, the second part of this question, what kind of attitude are you hoping to instill into this team with the energy that you've been bringing?
Yeah, well, these guys have really been accepting to a little bit of the craziness that we're all about and how we do it, and we expect them to be on every day. Every time we go out in the field, they're expected to give everything they got. They tap in before they go out. They make a commitment that they're going to be all in, and then the coaches have to make sure we drive the energy. And so if I'm expecting that, then I got to do that too. And so that's what we've, it's kind of how we operate. And with the thought of we want to maximize the opportunity that we have that's right in front of us every single day, every step we take. And so that may sound like talk to you, but this is how we live, So they have embraced it, and I've been thrilled with the mentality on a regular basis. The coaches really have to set the tone, but we see that we do that until we can step aside for the leaders to take over, and we have strong leadership on this team on both sides of the football, and so it's really important. And the whole idea of the energy thing, or however you want to look at it, is I'm trying to get everything they got, every step they take, and that's a mentality it's really hard to maintain, and it's hard to get there and acquire it, but it's harder to maintain even. And so there has to be an uncommon consistency in what we're asking of them to get that done, and that's how we're operating. And so as far as we could have gone, we took it. You saw us. We went all the way into overtime and a couple different shots in overtime. We got everything we can get out of every moment that we had. And these next 6 weeks are huge. These guys have to come back in great shape. I challenged every one of them to be in the best shape of their life. If they want to make the most of this opportunity, they need to go about it with that thought. And so they've all got plans and how they're going to get that done, and we'll see what happens when we return.
You mentioned accepting the craziness. Well, we saw you wrestling Munford the other day, and now
I wasn't wrestling with him. I pinned him.
and today we see an equipment manager in the bubble rolling around after stretch. What are the stories behind these things?
Yeah, I can't speak for the bubble thing. They're trying to surprise me with that one, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know that was happening. But they're taking part in it, obviously. This is what we're asking these guys to do, to play as well as anybody that plays this game. We're not setting expectations, try to win a few games and make some progress. That's not what we're doing here. We're trying to take this as far as you can possibly take it, and it's the only perspective that they have heard from me, and that's the only one I can even imagine. I can't even think any way else. And so that means we have to just continue to maximize all of the moments. And so that means I need to keep their attention and keep their focus and keep them going and keep them guessing and whatever it takes. And I was a little concerned because this is kind of like the last day of school, when kids get a little crazy and they do some crazy things and stuff because they know they're getting out. I was a little concerned about it, so we addressed that, and they brought all their love and energy today to this effort that we had. And there's a lot to this, what they put into it demonstrates how important it is to them and how much they respect their opportunity. And it also, what they put into it allows them to present themselves as the best they can to be a great teammate. And that's, you can't have a great team without great teammates on it. And so there's a whole building process to getting that done. And part of that is taking part in whatever we ask them to do, as wild as it may be or nuts as they may think it is. And some of it is pretty crazy, but we made it. We made it through it.
Just from us being able to watch, Michael Mayer seemed like a guy that got a lot of touches over the last, however many practices that we got a chance to see. What are your impressions of the young tight end?
I thought Mike had a great offseason with us. There was we started out going heart to heart, and him understanding what we were all about, and he embraced it and took it, as well as anybody could take the challenge of bringing it day in and day out. He had a great camp, and he was doing well before Brock got here, and the two of them just went head to head, just trying to make a play here and there, and going back and forth, and they were just great contributors. It's a terrific position group for us. Ian Thomas coming in really, really livened it up as well. So we have a very good position group right there, and excited about what they're going to do. But I thought Michael had a great camp.
In practice, obviously, you have a lot of rookies that are either with the first team or the second team. Have you been surprised at all with the production of the rookies so far and how they've developed, or do you think this is right where you expect them to be?
The young guys have done really well. The guys that we chose in the draft have all made a mark at some point and show that they deserve being here. It looks like a really good class all the way through, both offensive linemen, both defensive linemen. They participated and rolled in with the twos for the most part. Those guys, they held their own. Ashton had an excellent camp, but Dante and Jack, they did their stuff. It's a good-looking group, and the idea is to force those guys to play early and make them have to play. And to do that well, you have to ask them to do things they're good at. If you just ask them to try to do everything that a veteran knows, they're going to falter and they're not going to be able to show themselves. But if you do it in a progressive manner that gives them a chance to show, then by the time we get to midseason, those guys can be regulars for us. And so this is not a new process. This is the way I've done it with rookies and freshmen and the whole thing for a long time. And it just depends on how well you orchestrate what you ask them to do. And if they can find success, then their confidence builds, and then before you know it, you got a regular. And that just helps our depth and helps us stay competitive.
Speaking of Geno Smith throughout camp.
I'm sorry, could you say that again, please?
Go ahead.
Okay. What did you learn about Geno Smith during camp?
I can't tell you I learned that much because I know Geno about as well as you can know a player, and I was thrilled how he embraced the leadership opportunity, and he's been around me so much that he knows where we're coming from and can step up at the right time, say the right thing, do the right thing. But Geno's a natural leader. He has developed over the years through all hard knocks and the tough ways that he's come up through it all to be a great competitor. And he knows to be a great competitor, you have to go for it every opportunity that you have, and that's what he's done. And he's just illustrated to these guys that okay, if you're part of our program, this is what's expected. And I couldn't ask for a better partner in bringing the word to our team.
You, Zeke, in the case.
You mentioned asking these guys to do certain things. Ja'Cory and Bennett told us that you're all about the ball. See ball, get ball. How do you instill that into those defensive guys to
every day?
Get it
every day. And the first thing I said to him in the first football meeting that we had was, it's all about the ball. And today I started this last meeting that we had, it's all about the ball. It's about how you emphasize it. And it's not just that you emphasize it, it's how well you can emphasize it in creative manners. It's like if you're a teacher and you go out and you give this great lecture and you think everybody should learn what you wanted them to learn. If you don't keep coming back to the same messaging and the same teachings, it's likely that you didn't hit home with everybody. So it's the way that we emphasize it and the way we're consistently coming about it as creatively as we can, and whatever it takes to get the message across. Our guys, right from the start, from day one, we had some big lessons about taking care of the football and offense and how they're going to tuck it and lock it and all those things. The guys have just done a really nice job. On the other side of the ball, in a mode in this offseason where you can't be physical. You can't hit guys. You can't tackle anybody. You have to use your imagination. And so that's sighting the football when you're attacking it and showing that you sight it. And so the gestures that you make to show us that you had a shot to punch at the football or take a shot at it, all of those things are the things that we value really highly. And so I think we reported today that was 2,300 times during these last 10 days that we took a shot at the football, and so that's the kind of emphasis that we need. And but it never ends. I mean, they never get it. They can stay with you. And so we have a real clear passage to getting that done, and we'll see what happens. It'll really be the key to our season.
Pete, where do you feel like the team made the most progress over the last 3 days?
I think work ethic, really. I think the consistency in our work ethic. We came out of the OTA phase 2 when you can only go so far. You can only do so much. And then phase 3, we get to do a lot more against each other and work against offense versus defense. And so they got to transfer, the phase 1, phase 2 to the final phase into this mini camp. But even with that, there's so much restraint on them. It's really hard to do this right because you have to, like I said, you got to use your imagination because you can't make the plays, And so sometimes we go a little bit too far. The league's aware of how we practice, because they know, and we had to stay within the guidelines, which we got done in good fashion.
One of the guys we've heard, at least on the offensive line, credited with bringing the energy and working so hard during the off season is your center, Jackson Powers Johnson. But what about his mentality matches with what you're trying to instill, and what's it been like getting to work with him?
He's easy. He's easy to get to. He loves to be jacked up and fired up, and he's got that kind of energy about him. It's in his makeup. It's nothing we gave him. He brings that to us. When we have guys like that, we play off them. We try to put them in position so others can see what it's like. Caleb Rogers was a really interesting kid, first time around, but he has a big energy and kind of an excitement about the way he approaches the game that's unique. And so, I said this maybe to you guys before, but we're looking for the unique qualities that they bring, and we're celebrating the unique qualities by putting them in positions to, exhibit the way they are, so the guys can see it and they can affect other people. And JPJ he really does have a lot of juice.
All right, guys, we're gonna do 4 more. We go to Sean, Nick, Harry, and then up here to Ben.
Pete, obviously you guys can't put on pads yet, so kind of limited. You can't really truly block with offensive linemen. But what's been the focus for that group, and how much growth have you seen out of the O-line throughout the
They've done a really solid job, really worked on their technique, really working on the things that you can work on. You can't work on the physical part of it as much as you would like, other than sleds and bags and stuff like that. But BC's done a really nice job of getting all these guys to look uniformed. They step really well. Their hand placement is really good. Communication seems to be sharp. Chip's got a really in-depth, busy plan that we ask these guys to embrace. Fortunately, Gino is kind of the run coordinator on the field, and he changes the things and does the things that we need to do. All of that has worked together really well. So it looks like a good, solid group. We have good leadership. Colton, it was great to get Colton out there and be part of it. Saw a lot of DJ Glaze. I thought he had a really, really good offseason with us. He looks like he's ready to go. And he's a second-year guy, but he's one of the guys go from year 1 to year 2. They have the ability to make a big jump because they're through the rookie, whatever it is, and the haze, and he's shown that. So. It looks like a good, solid group. It's very competitive, and we feel like we have some depth. And going to camp is really when we'll know what's happening. My favorite guy out there to watch is Lucky Tassi. He's knows nothing about football when he walks in the door, and he's made tremendous progress, and he's enormous. He's the biggest guy you ever saw, and I think he weighed in the other day 369, and he's learning. Yeah, we got to keep an eye on him. It's an exciting process. I don't know how long it's going to take, but he's starting from ground zero, and he's made a lot of progress so far.
We just heard from Raheem Mostert. It sounds like there's a lot of optimism about turning what was the league's worst rushing attack into one of the league's better ones, especially given you love to run the rock. Chip Kelly has had a documented success of doing so. So over recent weeks, have you guys figured out how you're going to maybe divvy up the workload between Genty or Mostert?
They're gonna show us that. When they get their chance to compete. I love having multiple guys play. I'm not relying on one guy, thunder, lightning back in the day, whatever it takes to get it done. So we're going to let the guys play for that, play for their play time. Raheem, I love having him. He's an experienced guy that's been a great speedster for years. We've defended him for years. He's been a real nightmare for us. And I think Zamir had a really, really good camp too. He had made a statement of being the bigger of the guys. You know, he's really fast and he's the biggest guy that we have. Ashton looks every bit what we would hoped he would look like. And he caught the ball really well. He understood stuff. Took everything really seriously. Gave terrific effort throughout, and we made a big deal to him. Everybody's watching you, you know, and he embraced the thought of it. And so it's going to be really, it's going to be exciting to see what happens. We got Sincere back too, you know, late in the camp period here. He had a couple really nice games last year, and he showed really good quickness and kind of a knack for running the ball. So when we go to camp, it'll just be game on, you know, and we'll see what happens.
With this phase complete of the off season, how satisfied you are with the roster construction, and also would you be looking into outside options for more competition during training?
You're either competing or you're not. We ain't letting up now. You saw that we just signed a guy, or got a guy committed yesterday, and we're going to keep working it. There's no time to turn away from, you know, having a chance to get a little bit better. So we'll be on it.
I'm going to ask you about the other guy, Jermaine Pratt. What was it about Jermaine that made you guys kind of quickly come to terms with him?
Well, he's a really hard-nosed kid, tough kid, played a lot of football, has been really healthy, has played all of the positions to give us a flexibility that really will help us. And so we've been really pleased with Landon. He did a great job of taking over the leadership position and calling everything. And Devin has done a really nice job too. To put these three guys together where they're on the field at the same time, that's a loaded up group. And they're all tough and they're all physical and they're all downhill players, which is the style that we love to play with. So I was really pleased that Johnny was able to get that done.
Somos malosos, la